we covered till this slide yesterday. We talked about different rules that one must follow while observing a delta divergence on a chart. Does not matter what time frame it is. Like if you're using a 5-minute chart, these rules still apply. So don't ignore these rules. You may have to let go of other delta divergences which do not match with these rules, and some of them might actually work, all right, and some of them might give a big move in the markets. But please understand, this set of rules that I am providing you is there to help you increase the probability of your trades, all right. So there can be multiple ways a delta divergence can show up, but when you follow these rules, the probability of success is the highest, and the logical foundation is the what you can say, the most sound logical foundation can be argued with these set of rules, all right, when you are applying a delta divergence. So don't forget these rules, all right. Let us move on and start with today's topics, and the first thing that we are going to cover is order flow plotting techniques. Now we saw how orders are matched, aggressive orders, passive orders, market limit, all those things we understood. Now we have a very very sound foundation to go directly to the order flow charts and see how we can plot the same data in different ways, right? Is it always helpful? Well, I'm not really sure. Sometimes, just because you can do certain things with the software, or other people are doing certain things with the software, you know uh, just to keep up with the competition, these software providers, they will go on adding features, all right. Some of them are really useful, some of them may not be even necessary, but I mean, that is the name of the game. What we will do is we will try to see the different ways Bell Order Flow Pro or Ultimate can plot the order flow chart, all right. We will be consistently using some of those plotting techniques, and we will probably never use the other techniques apart from this video, because I have to show you all the ways so that you don't get confused, all right, like what to look at and what to avoid. So we will look at all the different ways this software can plot order flow data. Okay, so what are those different ways? There are these many ways in which an order flow chart can be plotted. You can plot a simple bid ask price ladder. Mm, you can plot a bid ask histogram. We will see what that means. You can plot bid ask imbalance. Now this is the one that I use all the time, right? Bid ask imbalance. Then there is delta, then there is delta percentage, then there is delta shaded volume, and finally the volume histogram, all right. So there are multiple ways you can plot this bid ask data that you receive from the exchange, or in other words, order flow data. And there are subtle differences, some are completely different from the other, all right. uh, some of these charts will give you a certain type of information, other charts will give you a different kind of information, all right. So you need to select the one that gives you the most appropriate and pertinent information that you need to make your trading decisions, right? So what we will do is we will straight away go to the order flow charts, all right, and we will see how these different indicators are plotted, all right. So I will just minimize I hope, yeah, I will minimize the bell delta indicator for the time being, and we will focus on simple order flow chart, all right. Now we all know how to get this order flow chart. We go to indicators, and then we select like if you have a order flow pro, you will select order flow pro. If you have order flow ultimate, you will select order flow ultimate. Just double click it, it will come down. And I have already shared all the settings that I use, okay, personally use with you. All right. So you can set up the charts exactly to look like mine if you follow these settings. All right. Now we will move forward and see what different things on the chart mean. All right. What are these different levels and what they actually mean? Okay. So to start with, we all know that these numbers and these boxes, this is called as price ladder. All right. This is also called as footprint charts or simply order flow charts. All right. We saw what these numbers mean. We know that all aggressive buy or market buy orders are plotted on the right side. And we know that all aggressive sell or market sell orders are plotted on the left side. We all know that. Good. Then we saw that this candles at the bottom of the order flow chart, this is an inbuilt feature, is nothing but delta. Then below this, we have this table. Now we will go through the contents of the table soon. We actually have already gone through them in the settings video. What I use, I just use cumulative delta here, right? And I plot the session letters. Why do I plot the session letters? To know what letter is currently being plotted the on the market profile chart. Okay, so when these two bars were plotting on an order flow chart, you can quickly go down and you can see that H period is plotting on the market profile chart. So that is a very very useful information when you do live trading. Sometimes when you just want to take a trade and you're really not sure what is happening on the market profile chart, you get these letters at the bottom and it becomes much more clear. All right. So that is about the letters and the table at the bottom. We will talk about this left axis in a bit, but what we wanted to do first and foremost is to go through these options. All right, these are the different ways you can plot this bid ask data or order flow data. So let's start with the first one, bid ask price ladder view. All right, now what is happening here? You can see that the left side is red. All right, and the right side is green. Obviously the right side means buy, left side means sell. You can also see that there, if you can observe it minutely, you will see that these red cells, they have a gradient in color. Same with this green. The higher the number, lighter the color. Okay, higher the number, lighter will be the shade. So 1905, you can clearly see this is a light shade, but 9, this is a very dark shade. All right. Consequently, if you come to this green side, 2381, very light green color. But if you see this 16, very dark green color. All right. This is a simple bid ask price ladder or footprint chart or order flow chart. Nothing uh, special is going on here. Only we are plotting aggressive sell to the left, aggressive buy to the right, and in this side we are comparing all the aggressive buy orders. The highest one will be plotted in the lightest color. Here we are comparing aggressive sell orders, and the highest one will be plotted in the lightest color and the lowest one will be plotted in the darkest color. That's all. Now you might see these boxes, they show up only once on every order flow chart. What are these boxes? What do they stand for? These boxes are the volume point of control for each bar. All right. So what do I mean by that? When we go to the volume, histogram chart type, we will understand clearly. But right now, what I'm saying is, if you add total volume at every box for a bar, you will find that these boxes with this small red rectangles will have the highest value. All right. So if I have to plot this histogram, it will plot something like this. And this will have the maximum value, and this will be your volume point of control for this bar. Okay. It tells you where, the maximum amount of activity happened. Was it at the lows? Was it near the highs? All those kinds of information will be revealed from this particular red box. Okay, so it pays to keep a track of where those red boxes are forming. So this is the simplest form: bid ask footprint or ladder or order flow chart. All right. uh, Nothing much is revealed here. Then we come to bid ask histogram. Now what are we seeing here is, if I in just zoom it on the horizontal axis, you will see that instead of just plotting rectangles, we are plotting a histogram or a volume profile type of a chart. And you can immediately see that lower volume numbers are seeing lower, this box width, whereas higher volume, cells or boxes are seeing wider bars being plotted. Makes sense? This immediately tells you where max volume was traded. And you can see wherever the max volume was traded, you will see these red boxes. So here the max volume was traded in this zone, here it was traded in this zone, and you will have those corresponding red boxes that will tell you where the volume point of control is. It is plotted for buy side as well as sell side. So sometimes you can see that the highest buy volume occurred here, but the highest sale volume occurred right at the lows. Make sense? So that is bid ask histogram. So what you are doing, you are plotting the bid and ask values in a histogram format, nothing else. That is one way you can plot the charts. The problem is, like, if you zoom out, okay, or you just make it a normal chart, it is really difficult to see the difference, between the heights of the bars. I mean, on a bar like this, where there is clear, distinction, you can probably understand. But on a bar like this, it is really difficult, or on a bar like this, it is really difficult to make out which, had a higher volume, which had lower volume. And that is the problem with this type of plotting of data, right? You really have to zoom in to be able to see these charts clearly. All right. So that was bid ask histogram. Let's go to bid ask imbalance. Now, here something different is happening. You are seeing that not all boxes are colored red or green. Intermittently, some of the boxes are colored green here and here, here. Okay, then you have some boxes colored red. And why this box is colored red and why all the others are not getting any color? Well, that again is something that we now need to understand. Okay, so bid ask imbalance charts are plotted in such a way that they will compare diagonal values. So this is a price ladder. All right, you have buy values plotted here, sell values plotted here. Bid ask imbalance chart will compare values diagonally and not the opposite side. Like, lower sell value will be compared to a higher buy value. And it is happening like this for a reason. All right. So please understand, bid ask histogram will compare a lower sell value to the next higher buy value. Okay. It will compare which is higher, which is lower. And based on that comparison, these colors are decided. All right. So why we compare the lower sell value with a higher buy value? For that, you need to go back to the PPT, go higher, and yeah, look at this chart. And the reason is in this, top 5 buy sell uh, window, or this type of data arrangement. And the reason is a market sell order will be executed at best bid price. A market buy order will be executed at best offer price. And as you can see, by default, the best offer price is at higher value than the best bid price. So a market sell order will be executed at a lower price than a market buy order. All right. Now we know that on an order flow chart, market buy orders are plotted on the right side and market sell orders are plotted on the left side. So that is why, because of this difference between the best offer and the best bid, we will always compare them diagonally. Right? A long back, I made a video on why we should compare diagonally instead of horizontally. And there is one problem also associated with this type of comparison, you know, and that also I highlighted. So what I will do is, that is an old video, but I will also share it with the with all of you, with all the intensive participants. I will add it, once I have done all the editing for these videos. I will also add that as a bonus video, so that you can go through it and learn from it. All right. So right now, what you need to understand, that we are comparing these values diagonally. Now let us go back to the chart and see what exactly I mean. Let me increase this a bit. All right. So what we are doing now, take any value for comparison purposes. Let us take this one. So this 136 sell value will be compared diagonally to this 2 buy value. All right. This 36 sell value will be compared to this 3 buy value. But then why this is plotted as red and why this is plotted as green, and why all the other values are not colored but are in white? For that, you need to go to settings, indicators, settings, go to order flow settings, and then you come here to price view. And here the setting is bid ask volume imbalance multiple. What this means is that you will be calculating or trying to find out buy and sell values that are placed diagonally, and you will see what is the difference between them. Now, if this buy value is 3 times the sell value or greater, this will be plotted in green color. If the sell value is 3 times or greater than the buy value, this will be plotted in red color. So now let us go back to the chart and see if that is true. So let us compare this 136 and 2. Obviously, we know that 136 is greater than 3 times 2, that is 6. So that is why this is plotted in red. Consider this 203 and 64. All right. Consider this comparison. We all know that 64 into 3 will come around 192, and 203 is greater than 192, and hence it is plotted in green color. All right. Now we understood why some are plotted in green and red and why others are not. Let us compare other values. So let us compare this 203 and 80. Now the cell value is greater, all right, but is it greater than 3 times 80? 3 times 80 is 240, and it is not. So this is not plotted in red color. All right. You take any other value, take 207 and 305. Now the buyers are greater, but 3 times 207 is 621 and 305 is not greater than 621. Hence, nothing is plotted in green or red color. But the moment you get that 3 times imbalance between buy and sell, like this one, 151 into 3 is 453 and 553 is greater than 453, hence it is plotted in red color. But all other comparison will be less than 3 times. Now, do we have to use this type of imbalance all the time, 3 times? Well, you can change that ratio also. We saw where the setting is price view, bid ask, volume imbalance multiple. If I make it 2 and click OK, now see what happens. You will see that now we don't have to have a minimum 3 times imbalance. Even 2 times imbalance can be is all right and is okay. All right. So let us compare this value 64 and 203. Now 64 into 2 is 128, which is less than 203, and that is why this is plotted in green color. But if our original 3x imbalance is to be considered, then this will still plot because it will be 192 and uh, 203. So that will plot. Let me find another example where the 3 time imbalance won't plot, but 2 times will. Okay, consider this one, 595 and 1380. So 595 into 2 will give us 1190, I believe, right? And 1190 is less than 1380. So this is appropriately plotted in green color. But now if I make it 3 times, then 595 into 3 will be 1685 and it is greater than 1380. So if the imbalance is 2 times, this will get plotted as aggressive, or it's already an aggressive buy order, but that imbalance is in favor of buyers in this case. But if you plot it as 3 times, the imbalance won't be favoring the buyers. Now let us just go back quickly and change our imbalance to 3 times and see if that disappears. See, we were looking at this 595 into 1380, and now this is not plotted as a imbalance. Imbalance is favoring no one side in this case if you keep the imbalance threshold at 3 times. All right. So this is how the imbalance charts are plotted, and I like this type of charts. All right. Because it gives me an idea that even though we are plotting already the aggressive buy and sell orders, is there some imbalance between the buyers and sellers, and which side the imbalance is favoring? All right. I get that kind of information from this charts, and that is why this is my favorite chart. Let us go through the other charts. Delta we saw yesterday. It will just plot the difference between market buy minus market sell is equal to delta. All right. If this value is positive, it will be plotted as positive delta. If value is negative, it will be plotted as negative delta. All right. This we saw yesterday, the calculation also. Again, what happens is I don't really get the kind of information I want from this. Okay. Because even though this difference is 24, I don't know how many orders are traded here by just looking at this delta chart. I also need to see if it is it is a very high volume affair where both buyers and sellers were trading in big numbers, but the difference was very small. In that case, it can be misleading. All right, this can be 0 and 24 and 0, so that it becomes minus 24, and it can be a very big number and the difference can still be 24, and we will get misled by there. So here we are just plotting the delta value, then there is delta percentage. All right. So here what is happening is we are plotting it as a percentage of total volume traded. All right. On that particular box. So what it means is Here it is 100%. It means that if you plot that ladder, on the left side there will be 0, and on the right side there can be any number, let's say 50, 50. What this means, the total volume traded is 50. The delta will be aggressive buy minus aggressive sell, and that also will be 50. So delta divided by total volume will be 1, and that is why it is plotted as 100%. All right. Now, if there is a difference in value, all right, like there is, say, market buy and market sell, there are different numbers. So I'm just giving you an example. This, the calculation might be wrong. This is 100 and this is, say, 25. So we know that the delta is 75 divided by total of the volume is 125, and whatever is the percentage, this will be 3 by 5. All right. So this will be 60%. Make sense? So this number should be 60% if these values are the actual values. But we know that the actual values are different, and according to this calculation, this percentage value is calculated. All right. But here the issue is that they are not plotting it in plus and minus. Whether here the sellers were aggressive or buyers were aggressive, you cannot tell by looking at this number. All are positive, and we feel that all are in all cases market buy orders were greater than market sell orders. That is a problem with this type of chart, so I don't use this chart as well. Then comes order flow volume. Now I don't know what this chart is plotting. All right, I could never understand this. uh, you might say that, Dean, you are the mentor, you are supposed to understand everything. Well, no, there are certain things in life that I don't understand, and the things that I don't understand, I comfortably stay away from them, especially in trading, because it can cause a lot of problems. Then comes delta shaded volume. Now, again, I don't understand the logic here. Okay. uh, Delta shaded means delta is either positive or negative. So if delta on this bar was positive, it should have been plotted in green color. All right. And if it was negative, it should have been plotted in red color. By looking at this number, all right, this is the total volume traded. All you can see is that it is just shaded based on whether it is a high number or a low number. I don't think it is shaded based on delta. So again, there is some problem. But I mean, there are so many things, all right, that are there in this software, but I don't use it. And even if like it is showing problem, like I would, since I avoid it, I won't go near that. All right. So this is again, there is a slight problem with the chart. Then we come to volume histogram. Now we saw bid ask histogram. This is simply volume profile for each individual 15-minute bar, nothing else. All right. What is it doing? It is just plotting a volume profile. That's all. This is the point where volume point of control is. This is the volume point of control for previous bar. Okay. So on and so forth. Make sense? So this is just a volume profile for each individual bar. Again, I don't need that. I don't need to see volume profile for each individual bar. Anyways, even on the imbalance chart, we are getting these red boxes. So I know where the volume point of control is without looking at these types of charts. So what I can do is, if I go to my bid ask imbalance, right, and I just increase the zoom in, then you can see, like on the previous bar, can see that this is where my volume point of control lies. I don't have to worry about how the volume profile is for this particular bar. All I'm worried about is this highest number. Okay. And where it is situated, whether the bar is top heavy, bottom heavy, or it is in the middle, is there an imbalance in that volume point of control? All these things I'm more interested in. Okay. Instead of just trying to find out how the shape of each individual bar is looking, I don't want to go that deep into it. All right. So these are the different ways, the order flow chart is plotted. Okay. And which one I use? As I discussed already, I'm using the bid ask imbalance chart. And what are the reasons? There are a few. First and foremost, they are cleaner than most order flow charts, yet they don't compromise on information. So if you just look at the bid ask, you get all the left side as red and all the right side as green, and then you have to differentiate between the shades to make sense of that information. Okay, it becomes a little difficult to do that. So I use imbalance charts. They are very very clean. You know, they don't trouble you with too much information, and whatever pertinent information there is, they immediately compare the values diagonally, and they give you a color coding based on the degree of imbalance that you are plotting. Okay, you can set the degree of imbalance. We saw, I was using 3. You can make it 2, you can make it 5 even. Depends on what you want, depends on the instrument that is being traded. And more the difference between the bid and ask, greater will be the imbalance. All right, more the imbalance means more opportunity, because if there is more imbalance between buyers and sellers, that move is likely to continue. All right, but obviously you need to understand the context behind it. Otherwise, I have been saying from the first day of this intensive and for years before that, that if you don't understand the context correctly, order flow chart will mislead you. So be very very careful. All right, it is easier to spot imbalance on these charts. Okay, other charts you will have to do manual comparison, like whether the buyers were greater or sellers were greater. Okay, sometimes you compare them horizontally, then you have to make a decision whether you are going to compare horizontally or you are going to compare diagonally. All right, but these imbalance chart, they make it very very easy. They do automatic diagonal comparison. They let you set the degree of imbalance that you want, and based on that degree of imbalance, they will color code the chart for you. So it becomes really easy to monitor these charts. All right, let us move on.